Well, hello, and welcome back. I'm AJ O'Neill. This is Beyond. No, this is not actually. This is just. Oh wait, where did the? Where? Oh, we lost it. No, this is just me live at work. That's what this is. So let me. Gosh. Okay, I've got the YouTube and the Twitch chat open. Make sure we get that pause so we're not wasting video bandwidth here. And let me get something up over here. Let me see. Well, where are we at? Okay, lots of stuff. I forgot to put up my screen with my things and the stuff on it. So let me scroll over here and just get this situated. And let's see. Is that good? About right there, yeah? Okay. And let me see if I make that a little bit bigger. There we go. And then squeeze it back down. So I'm going to go over, I got some code that's got some try catches in it that are basically preventing the errors from being handled properly. So I'm going to switch, most of them I'm just going to delete so that the errors bubble up into the async router for Express. So let me see here. Oh, darn it. And then it, hold on. There we go. Is that better? That's a little bit better, maybe. Okay. What have I got here? One more thing, I think. I need to check out. Sorry, I should have been ready, but I wasn't ready. I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. I just wasn't. Sorry. Now, pop top, my friends. Do the do. I should not be doing this, but I need to stay up a little bit. So I'm going to. All right. Where are we at? Oh, hello and welcome. I am just starting here. So I'm going to make sure I've got the right branch checked out. We should be on master now. I think everything got merged in. So I should be able to pull, okay, master's up to great. So what I'm going to be looking for is essentially instances of try catch. Let's see. And this is what I'm going to do. Because 90% of these, probably more than that, because that would mean that 1 out of 10, it does not need to be replaced. I think that this is a lot closer to maybe 1 out of 20 doesn't need to be replaced, or some of them need to be handled special. But anyway, what I'm going to do is get these. We're going to, you'll see. I'm just going to do it and then you'll see. So delimiter is going to be colon. Well, let me do it this way. There we go. So if you use RG and you pipe it, this is one of the things I like about RG, is it knows what to do. It knows the right thing to do. So if you're viewing the content directly, it's going to show it with colors and pretty formatted and all that. If you pipe it, then it's going to put everything on one line and get rid of all the colors, right? So here we are, and that gives us all the files. So I'm going to use cut-d, that sets the delimiter to be the colon, and then I'm going to do F1 to say I only want to get the first field, and then that's going to give us the files without the lines that the code belongs to, and then I'm going to do sort-u so that it sorts all of the files uniquely and only represents each file once. Then let's see if there's anything that I know that I don't want to. All I really care about is what's in source. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I'm only searching for the stuff that's in source. There we are. Great. And then I'm going to take all that and I'm going to put it into a file called do or do not. Because you get the reference. And then I'm going to open up that do or do not.sh, and I'm going to select every line, and I'm going to replace start of line with them space, and then I'm going to do that for everything. And so now we can see this whole file is just going to be one them after the other, going through every single thing. Now that's quite a bit. That's more than I had thought. So I think what I want to do is restrict it to just API. Let's do that. We're going to go, well, yeah, I think I'm just going to restrict it to API because otherwise it's too much. I can't make a dent in that. So I'm really just concerned with stuff that's under API. And then let's do this again. 231, it's still too much. Let me do just things that are under routes. I can put a dent in that. That's 69 files. So I can put a dent in that. So let's do source API routes. And then hit up, do the replace. And as my good friend Mario says, here we go. Blah, 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 blah. I'm just looking to see if there's anything here that I need to take care of. And I don't think so. My brain's working a little slow right now, though. But it's going to be able to work effectively on this task. So I'm going to do this task. All right. Let's go search for the try. Interesting. That's not what I thought it was going to be. Hold on. Darn. Okay. Yeah, so this stuff right here, I almost think I could almost do this with Comey, which is an automated tool, but I think this does require the human hand. But this, let's see, yeah. So we don't need to create unknown errors. That doesn't help us. We lose information that way. And now that I've got centralized error handling, I can just get rid of this. Get rid of it, boom, it's gone. So this is the goal. We're just going to try to make a dent here. Yep. And maybe I want to slim this down a little bit more. Do the highest impact first. All right, that's it. All right, declared but never read. Declared but never read. We'll get rid of them. Easy enough. Get a little bit of linter error out of the way while we're going through here. Okay, that's that one. This one cannot find try. I'm a little bit confused then. Why did it give me something? Whatever. We'll just go through it. There we go. Try this. We're going to leave that one in place because that's got something else going on there. I don't want to mess with that. I want to catch the simple ones. All right, so like, for example, this. Interesting. That's already happening, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. Express. No? There are a couple of places where I need to check out where Express router is used. And in fact, I'm going to open up a new window to look at that real quick. And then when I'm looking over here, I am checking comments. So, just FYI. Ah, that is soothing, I do have to say. Now, what the heck happened here? So I did a search for try like this, right? And I was looking in source API for that, routes. Okay, everything I see there looks like it's got try in it. So I'm very confused as to how I could have ended up with files that don't have try in them. Every single one of these files seems to have a try in it. So do or do not. Yeah, not clear to me how totally not clear to me how that ended up being that way. What was I opening this up for? There was something specific that I wanted to look at. What, this is never used? Oh, doesn't export init org customer? Is that where? Oh, but it doesn't use it, so we're good. And I really do kind of want to, well, that's a different battle for a different day. Yeah, anywhere where we're just, where this is all just old code, and it had been updated quite a bit to get error handling to be more consistent, and this is kind of the last pass. Essentially, anything that has a 500 error is going to go, so that the only thing that's different about a lot of these is whether they console.log and they do the sentry capture. Basically, anything that's a 500 across the app, that is going to get captured. Let's see, declared, but the value is never read. So I guess we could just get rid of that. Or I don't know, we'll leave it there for now. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave this one alone. Well, I'll go ahead and change this one. This one could be .catch, and then we have errors.capture is what that is. So this doesn't have errors in here yet. That's fine. I'll do errors equals require lib. Oh, I was going to look for places where router is being set. That was it. Okay. Errors. Errors.js. There we are. And then stripe error. Values never read. Okay, we'll get rid of it. Yeah, I think we check stripe errors elsewhere now. Source lib. Source lib. There we go. All right, errors.capture. That should be good. Yeah, this should be correct. So now we don't have to have a try catch. See how much cleaner that is? Do you see how much cleaner that is? I don't know who came up with this idea that you should use try catch with async await, but it's a terrible misfortune because it just makes the code look crappy. You just substitute one problem for another. It's very frustrating. Okay, so this one, and then here's a trick, by the way. Typically, you're going to cause a syntax error when you delete half of a try catch, right? So, boom, created a syntax error. But if I look for the matching brace that's below, it will take me to the matching brace that's above. And that's the easiest way to go about it, because there's not always a matching brace above. Sometimes there is. So in this case, if I went there, yeah, that one would have worked. But then, let's see. Status 400. Oh, wait, get coupon. Oh, so this is a bad coupon. So I think I'm going to leave that one for now, because, again, I'm just trying to make a dent. I can always come back to it later. But this one probably deserves some sort of error message that is a bad coupon error message. I don't know. What is this trying to do? Await get coupon. What does get coupon do? It's somewhere else. Yeah, I don't want to dig into it. This is not why I'm here tonight. So I'm going to let that one pass. My guess is that this, no, I am going to look at it. Because I think this get coupon, what it ought to do is it ought to throw a coupon error that ought to have some sort of coupon code thing going on. Oh, bless me. Sorry. I'm belch-a-louching. That's how I do. Get coupon. So catch stripe error. Yeah, so these, I see what's happening here. So these are being wrapped in the stripe error. Oh no. Stripe error. Huh. Let's do source lib errors, because this is now kind of circular-ish, I think. Or no, they just both require errors. That's totally fine. Oh, hello, welcome. Where are you from? What do you do? What's your interest in Node / the channel / whatever. Let me know what you're interested in. I'll maybe talk more about those things or highlight them, whatever. And if at any point you find that this is useful and you get some value out of it, you learn something interesting, I do appreciate the thumbs up as y'all come and go. But I really enjoy the chat. That's one of the things I enjoy the most, is when we get into little side conversations here in the chat. Anyway, so I got my stripe error, and this is, yeah. So this is wrapping the stripe errors, and it's doing it based on the stripe type. Okay. But we don't have, we have a code is equal to key, but we don't have a status. So I wonder, is there a coupon not valid message in here? I see card, charge, coupon expired, coupon's no longer valid. Do we have a, coupon is no longer valid, but do we have just a coupon was never valid? Can I put status 400 here? I think that's how we're doing it, right? 401, 400. Yeah. So I think if we do it that way, all right, let me come back over here and take a look again. Get coupon. I think if we do it this way, then it's okay. It'll throw an error. It'll throw an error that'll be a 400 level error, assuming that the error is a coupon error. If it's not a coupon error, if it's some other type of error, then it won't throw the 400. It'll end up being all errors are 500 by default, is how we have it set up. So I'm going to get rid of that. I think that's good. Whoops. And then this one, yeah, anything where it's 500 and unknown. And this, by the way, this dot error, that's our own thing, but we're getting rid of it because now we have centralized error handling. So we don't need that. We don't need it clogging up the stack trace. Okay, cool. Good. All right, and what's this one? Again, don't need it. Do-do-do. And don't need it. Yeah, let me just double check on that one. Yeah. Anytime where it's 500s and unknowns, there's definitely no use in wrapping it because we're not gaining any additional information. Oh yeah, that's just garbage. That's noise. There's some stuff I've not figured out with the type linting. If you or someone you know is a type linting expert, I would really love to chat with you. But basically, the TypeScript linter gets upset because the objection, which handles the database and the data models, is it has the definitely typed files and all that. But I don't know if it's the way we're using it or what's going on, but it doesn't know what properties are actually in the database, and it doesn't seem to understand the inheritance of We have an account class that extends the base class, that extends the objection model, which is what actually has all the TypeScript stuff in it. So I'm not clear on how someone is supposed to make it known to the TypeScript linter what properties actually exist. Anyway, but this is one of the reasons that I don't like inheritance, and I just think that I like type linting. I think that's great. I love the sophistication of the TypeScript server, but I think that TypeScript is a bad idea, and that style of quote-unquote object-oriented programming that is not based off of the academic object-oriented programming, but was made up, I don't know, by the UML people or something, and then marketed as object-oriented, and has plagued us for generations. Okay, let's see. Is admin is not actually used. Great, let's get rid of it. Is Sentry not used here? Great, let's get rid of it. Is verified isn't used? Yep, great, let's get rid of it. Yeah, verification. We've moved almost all of the account and user verification up. As I say over and over, you want the gatekeeper at the gate, not at the door. So we've moved almost all the account. This user has an account. This is the right account for what the user is going to do in this resource has been moved up at the gate, meaning up at the routing level rather than down in the function level. There are some places where we do need to get more specific about that, but much more of it is just handled. It's, there's the gatekeeper and there's the doorkeeper. You don't get in the gate at all if you're not an authorized user or if you don't have a valid account, and then you don't get to the door if there's the specifics that are required at the door. So that's why that is verified has been going away. Oh, that makes me so sad. Magic numbers. I don't know if we'll ever be able to transition over to database fixtures. We might be, I don't know. I don't like having magic numbers all over the place in the code that represent essentially enums in the database. But it's one of those things where it's been added here a little, there a little, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get out of it. Okay, why? Let me check this. Let me check this over here. So let's go back to my little search. I'm going to get rid of all this, and then let's look and see storage. Okay. We got rid of everything, right? Okay, so now I'm going to look for storage. So my question is this. How... Okay, so right now, we don't see storage.js in here. Okay, do we see storage.js in here now? No, we don't. Okay, so we don't have it in there now. So cut -d, again with the colon, field 1, sort -u, storage. It's not in there. I'm just so confused. I'm so confused as to how we ended up in a file, routes, account, storage, that doesn't show up in the list. Account, whatever. Whatever. All right, try, yep, here's another one. Anything that's 500 isn't going to the user anyway, so we're just going to let it bubble up. And let's go ahead and get rid of this return because that doesn't make any sense. And yeah, I don't want to reorder these right now. I'm going to try to keep this change as small as possible. But this should bubble up as an error. So I think what we're going to do is throw, not new, I don't use new, errors.create not found. That should do it. And I did have, let's see if it's still in my buffer. Is it here? No. No? Okay. So I'm going to add this into my buffer. I had it in there a while ago. But I'm just going to add this line into my buffer as, well, I guess register. It's called register E. Source lib errors.js. So in Vim, that is quote, and then the letter E, and then YY to yank. So now I can do quote EP, and I can paste that anywhere that I want, and I will. All right, so throw errors.create. That looks good. And then I would prefer to invert this so that if this is not there, then we throw. Otherwise, but one thing for sure is return something or return nothing. That's one of my JavaScript mantras. And I want, yeah, I think I've got those sayings. I want to come up with a poster kind of like the Zen of Python and the Go Proverbs that have to do with JavaScript, and return something or return nothing is one of them. Because it's not communicative. And I know that it's so common for people to return res dot something that you get used to knowing that it doesn't mean anything, and you can just ignore it. But the problem is that once people have established a pattern of returning meaningless things, then every time you see something returned, if you're not intimately familiar with the code, you have to go figure out, is this returning something or is it returning nothing? Is there a reason this is returning? And that's another reason that I recommend that you do return await as well, and get rid of the return if the await is all that's necessary. Don't return something because it's a promise. Await it. Only return it if you need to return it. If you need to return it, then return await it. That way it is clear. It is clear what you're trying to do, what your intent is. Okay, let's see. Yep. And we don't need these messages, failed to find user, etc., because in the central error handling, it will tell us what the method was and what the route. So if this, I don't know if this is actually true anymore. I think I'll go ahead and get rid of that. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave that there for now. Redundant. Is that redundant? Is that spelled wrong? Is that why it's upset? Yeah. So I've got spell check on in Vim. webinstall.dev/vim-spell if you want that. I mean, it's easy enough to turn on, but that's a little cheat sheet that shows you how to do it. Wait, so what was I going about? Oh, yeah. So we have the method and the URL print in the error log, so we don't need the message of this is what was happening in English, especially since 500 errors aren't propagated to the user anyway. We have the deterministic code can tell us what was wrong with itself. Okay, same thing here. Yeah, so a lot of this, most of this, is just going to be deleting. It's not going to change the functionality of the code at all. It's very low touch, low likelihood of error. I can feel very confident in making the change and not feel like I'm potentially going to break things. So I'm trying to just stick to that right now. And I've got, oh, excuse me again, 60 of these files to go, I guess. Let's see, error and API script, don't need that. Error storing API maintenance, don't need that. Yeah. If there's an error, well, there can't be an error, can there? If there's an error, whatever the error is, we want to know what it is. Oh, this doesn't do anything. Excellent. Do we have anything start? Start? No. So wait, this whole time. Okay, well, I guess this is just a route that's not used. So be it. Yeah, and then here, nothing. And again, all the 500 level errors that cannot be understood are going to get put into Sentry anyway. So, yeah. And so when I'm done with this, when I do the git diff, and there's a tool I like to use. Oh, hey, I'll see you there. Just a second, I'll respond to your comment. What was I going to say? So I'm low functioning right now in terms of brain power. Capture. Yeah, I don't remember. I was good. I got distracted by the comment. I don't remember what I was going to say. It's okay. It wasn't that important. Oh, but this is the most atrocious of all. When you have a return that is meaningless in a place where it's not necessary. Okay, I'm going to finish out this file and then I'll check the comment. Yeah. Oh, Comey. I was going to talk about Comey. So Comey is a tool that really helps because Comey can understand blocks in different languages. So I could tell Comey, hey, everywhere that you see a try catch block, delete what's inside the catch and just leave the try. So Comey could go through and do hundreds of files at a time this way. The problem is, like I said, we're somewhere in the realm of 95% of these should get cleaned up, but 5% shouldn't. And I could scope it further by scoping the specific file and whatnot. But the automated tooling is not the right tool in this case, I don't think. Okay, look, what does this mean? So what does this mean? Get sessions, rec, res. Oh, okay, I'm not going to deal with that. But see here, obviously this is a promise, right? And this is not async. And so that's just, but it's not returning it and it's not awaiting it. So what is it doing? But I see what it's doing. It's a little more traditional style. And then, okay, this is status 400. I don't even believe it. Get credits by account ID. Get credits log. So it says that it's always a 400 error, but how would it know? Get credits. Get credits. A century not used. Great. Start account task. That is used. Okay, so it doesn't like, for some of these, I believe it is exported, just doesn't like the way that it's exported, but get credits log. I don't want to go figure that out. I will leave this here for now because it says it's a 400. I don't really believe it, but again, it'll be quick to make another pass on it later. And I will get to that comment in just a second. Nice to see you, Will. Wait, do you go by Will or William? Because I think you've said William, and it's natural to shorten people's names, but some people like it when people take the effort to actually say their true name and not shorten it into a less significant, fewer syllables. And if you prefer William, then I will try not to fall into a habit of calling you Will, because that's lazy. Okay, again, 400. Why? How could this be a 400 error? Let me take a look at this. So account ID, this can't be a 400 error because account ID would have to be wrong. Get credits by account ID. Let me go check that out. And I can't look at somebody else's credits, right? I shouldn't be able to. Let's see. Get credits by account ID. Ah. Okay, so it is possible because this is not a normal route. This is for back office admins. So it is potentially possible that that one could be a 400 error because you could put in a bad ID that's not acceptable. Because generally speaking, a 400 error means that it's generally it means it's the developer's fault. Occasionally it means it's the user's fault. For example, user puts in bad coupon code. But typically speaking, a 400 level error is developer's fault. Developer misread some documentation and did something a different way. Okay, now I'm going to look over here. I try to remove async from functions that don't need it. I've seen code that it adds it even when no promise or awaits occur inside the function. Well, I think it depends. have you seen the article, What Color is Your Function? Because there are times when the type of function implies that this could be an async function, but this particular implementation of the function is not async. So for example, any route that I create, I'm going to create it as an async function. Why? Well, even if I'm just doing res.json hello, I'm still going to create it as an async function, because when I go back and I add things to that function, I'm going to likely add things that are asynchronous. That, so if the function is part of a system of functions that follow a particular pattern, then I agree with go ahead and make it an async function. Maybe some stuff gets left over and never gets deleted or cleaned up, whatever. But I also agree it doesn't make sense to make things async just for the fun of it. It does have I hesitate to say performance penalty because it's so slight. And yeah. But certainly, if we're adding numbers together, we don't need that. But, there's legacy. And so sometimes you end up with a function that says async and it shouldn't, but it wasn't because the person wasn't thinking. It's because it made sense in a previous time to do that. Okay. And then this is, yeah. All right, let's get rid of these returns. Also, I'm becoming, I think I am completely a fan of trailing comma. And I do have one argument against the semicolon. That is my pro argument for always having trailing comma is the same as the pro argument for not having semicolons. Although, because semicolons can, if the language were written in a way that semicolons were not required, then that would be better. For example, like Go. Go is written in such a way that there is automatic semicolon insertion of a sort, but you never run into a problem where you can't write code that would cause an error with it, so it's okay that there's automatic semicolon insertion. The rules are well-defined and strict. But anyway, I'm pro trailing comma because it makes your git diffs nicer. Okay, we don't need that. Get rid of that. Okay, what am I doing here? Was I doing that? Yeah, that's all the right stuff. Okay, what about this one? Yep, that's all good. Okay. And then, yeah, I'm just going to get out of here. Well, part of me, okay, one thing that I ought to do in all the route files, this is another dent that I ought to make. All the route files ought to begin with use strict. That's something that I should run through this a second time and ensure that they're there. In fact, I'm going to put this in my register. I'm going to do quote s yank. There we go. Now, quote sp will give me use strict. Okay, so what I have, quote ep. There we go. Now I've got my errors, and let's say we're going to throw errors.create, and then we're going to do not found. And again, this not found is in the errors.js. Not found has a definition, and then the message here is override. This actually should not be not found. This should be not implemented, but I'm going to leave it as not found for now. I'm not going to worry about it. And really, we could just do, if we just did next, if we just called next on it, that would, whatever. It's a marker. Okay, let me go out of here. Oh, hello. Welcome to you as well. Feel free to tell me who you are, where you're from, what your interest is in Node or the channel, or async await or try catch or whatever it is that brought you here. I actually would be quite interested to know what brought you here. If you care to be one of the chatty types. So, Will, are you working on something else right now? Or are you just experiencing insomnia and decided to come see what I was doing? Because I've got one buddy, I don't know which coast he's on. I think he's over on the East Coast. So as I'm going to bed, sometimes he's waking up, and so he'll watch some of the videos just as background noise. I will not be surprised if he puts a comment, "Hey, that's me you're talking about, isn't it?" But then maybe I just made that redundant and unnecessary. Okay. Yeah. Do. And there is some more important work that I need to do. It's just my brain function level is a little bit low right now. I'm leaving some, well, for two reasons. One, because I don't want to make more changes than necessary. I'm trying to keep it to just removing the excess try catches that don't add any information, but rather are subtracting information by not going through the proper error handler. And then I'm looking for any of the returns that are just superfluous nonsense returns, literally mean nothing. I'm leaving some of these in place, these unused variables, because they serve as a marker, perhaps, for what this is, or at least that it returns something, which is nice to know. I do like knowing when something returns something. Oh, and now I just remembered what I was going to look for. I was going to look for, there were some instances where the router was being created. I think we got rid of them all. Okay. Yeah, so let me see. Are there any other places where Express is being created? It's important that if you are using the Express router, which I would recommend, of course, that you use @root async router. Well, that is the Express router. It's just wrapped. And I will get to that comment in just a second. But if you are using Express, it is very important that you only create an Express server where you want to have an Express server. You'll see people do var app equals Express, but this is actually incorrect because you are not creating an Express app. You're creating an Express server, which has some nuanced differences essentially with the way that variables are scoped and internal state is scoped. So you want to make sure that you are in fact using express.router if you are using multiple Express-like things. That's something that has tripped me and other people up in the past because the documentation for Express was never finished. And it never explains the difference between a router and the server. And in fact, it references the server as a router pretty much everywhere, but it is not. And things, environment or variables such as trust proxy, or I guess, I don't know if that's a variable, the state, such as whether or not to trust proxy and some things like that that are top level state get messed up if you create a full server, because you can attach a server to a server. You can do server.use and then pass it another Express instance that's the top level server. You don't want to do that. You want to pass it routers. Okay. So working on a blog entry documenting a time when bumping up a memory limit of a PHP script just simply wasn't the correct solution and how I failed to address it. I want to hear more. That sounds interesting. I suppose post the link and the link in Discord. By the way, should I open up a Beyond Code Discord for the channel? I don't know that I have enough of a following to justify that yet, but maybe if I started plugging it and say, hey, if you want, you can we can chat in Discord. I'm not a very polite person. One-way conversations are my best kind of conversation. When it gets to be two-way, I start hurting people's feelings. Oh, it's funny because it's true. But yeah, I'm not a very good Discord manager person. I realized that with the Utah Node.js Discord, because the first couple of times people posted something, they say something to the effect of, "Oh, hey, check out this cool thing I found, blah, 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 blah." And then I respond with, "That's crap, don't do it that way." It doesn't garnish the close and loving friendships as well as one might hope. Okay, we're going to create an unauthorized error. Is that what we want to do? Yeah. We'll just throw that. Okay. So I guess if I got something like this, I will replace a couple of the res.errors as well. Let's see. What am I at? Admin dev. How many of these? How far am I through this list here? Admin.dev. Holy moly! I'm only into 15 out of 60. Oh well. Okay, another one where. Do we want to await this? So. Yeah, I mean that's not bad. I mean this is. At least it's a decent pattern. It is a good way to handle traditional express. This is a good way to handle traditional express. Minus the senseless arrow function, but there we go. And here, I got another question for you, Will. The other day, you showed up not as Sedok, but as your name. Did you actually change your profile, or were you logged in as a different account? Lol. Well, you're one of the nicer senior devs I know. The problem is you don't know me well enough yet. You'll grow to hate me just as much as any of the rest of them. We're all bitter and jaded because our world has been put into turmoil. I've seen people stream on Twitch that have interactive JS programs like a game of asteroids, but with a WebSockets WebRTC tunnel that allows watchers to participate. Logged in is that? Oh, so different account is what you're saying there. Okay. I don't know what to make of that sentence. The one about the stream interactive JS programs, WebSocket, watchers participate. I don't know how that would be useful participation. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. And this one, it looks like I could just get rid of this. But wait. We got a problem here. What is this? Res result. Yeah, okay. So this needs to be awaited. Because as it stands right now, if this is not awaited, then this would never respond on an error, but might cause the server to crash depending on the version of Node. Okay, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to call that was a minor bug fix. Do we have the same thing here? Ish. I think I'm going to leave this one be. Let's just put the await in there, because that should be there, and I should be able to get rid of this, but I'm not sure yet, so I'm going to leave it. But that definitely, yeah, a number of these probably should be awaited. Well, only now, well, I guess. I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. So the idea here, I mean, this looks like it's doing nothing in terms of the error handling. It looks like it's going to take this error code and then construct the base error that's based on that code, and then it's going to override its properties with that error. So to me, I don't know that that's different than just throwing this error. I don't think that it's going to garnish much additional information, and if it does, we should move that into the proper error handling. And where is this file? Admin FAQs. So I don't think that's probably very useful anyway, or not very useful. That's not what I mean. Not very critical. I guess useful is a more base way of saying that. All right, async, await, and then yeah, you just get rid of all that. Okay, so here we're getting rid of some catches. This might be more than what I want to do in terms of the way that I'm changing the code here. I'd get rid of the .then as well, to be honest. I just don't want to do it right now. Okay. What else we got? I guess I don't know where I'm going with that. Well, that makes two of us. Good. So I was actually thinking a little bit about how to stay positive. Or maybe not even how to stay positive. There's a human tendency to look down on other people. And I'm listening to this book called Tribal Leadership, and it makes that more clear, I guess, to me. That's one of the things that's surfacing it to my mind. And it talks about negativity very objectively as a fact of life and stages of negativity. Break out last as not an expected format. I don't even know what that means. I'm going to get rid of that. Declared but never read. That's because we moved all of the admin stuff into its own routes. And moment actually does not require new. Nope, I'm going to leave that. That's not the type of error that I'm doing in this commit. I don't want to have to review that type of error or that type of change. I only want to review these types of changes. Anyway, but it made me think about why is it that we have to take this us versus them or me versus the world mentality? Why can't we celebrate all of the good even if it's a lesser good? And I haven't come to any conclusion with that yet. It's just something that I'm thinking on and trying to figure out how to internalize to be a more enjoyable person. Because my beliefs about programming being mostly something where it should be possible and desirable and expected to get correct answers, making me upset. Not everybody gets math, and a lot of people who don't understand the basics of math are now in programming. And with math, you get a correct or an incorrect answer. If you add 5 and 7 and you don't get 12, you're doing it wrong. And a lot of the principles of programming fall into this category of you can reduce the logic into, yes, there are opinions of ways to do things that can be different. There are trade-offs between choosing different ways of doing something, but then there are things that only have downsides and have no upsides. And people do these things, and they are developed and they're popularized, and this makes me angry. But I can't change the world, and this is the way the world is. But I don't know where I'm going with this exactly. But I'm just trying to figure out, how do I deal with that internally and be a more positive person externally, regardless of the way that the world is not the way that I think it ought to be, and the world is tending away from programming being something where you can get correct reductions. It's not just the correct answers, which is a struggle, but correct reductions. There are ways that you can logically deduce, or I don't know if that's the right way of saying it, but if A then B, if B then C, if A then C. That's what I mean. That is a reduction. You don't always have to check A and B and then check B and C. If you have a rule that A then B and B then C, then you can know with certainty that A then C. And if code were to follow that pattern, then code would be simpler, I guess. All right, so I don't want to... let's see. So this should be... Is it unauthorized? Unauthorized. That's what 401 is, right? And so then we should throw here rather than return here. Right? Throw errors not create not found. So it's crazy to me. I'll look at the comments in just a second too. But it's crazy to me how little information that I can hold in my head, and I imagine that most people can hold in their heads. If I work in JavaScript for a little bit and I'm doing HTTP stuff, I can memorize dozens of HTTP status codes and whatnot. If I go away from that for, say, 2 weeks and I'm working on something that's CLI, I'll forget all of it. If I'm working on Go for a month, it's not that I forget my JavaScript, but my muscle memory is trained for Go, and then it takes me a few days to get back into JavaScript. I want to get back into Go. It's been too long since I've had a Go day. I have a little project that I want to do, a cross-platform random number generator that also uses base 62, which I'm really digging. I love the article that GitHub put out about their new token format. I thought it was really well done. I'm not a big GitHub fan in general. But I thought that article was really well thought out and worthy of being on the Go blog, really. Okay, now I'll look at comments again. Oh, well, you didn't say anything. Okay, well, I don't need to look at comments then. Fine. I'll just go back to talking to myself. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, here we are. Yeah, once I get rid of these... Okay, we don't need sleep here anymore. Great. I love deleting code. It's so relaxing. Bow, 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 bow. Okay. Again, why How did these get in here? I don't understand. I had a pattern. Files that match the pattern were directed into the file. Maybe I did a double. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. All right, so is admin is no longer here, which is probably, well, better be correct. Yeah, because now all of that is defined by route. Okay. Oh. Uh-oh. No, this is okay. This is okay. This is acceptable. See, this one I can kind of see because it's got the whole try thing going on. And we don't actually need that. And do we need this other one? Yeah, put it there for that. Yes, we don't need new. That is a bug. I'm not sure what the behavior... I don't know what happens if you do that, but let's go ahead and get rid of it. Alrighty. Oh, and another one that should be not implemented, but I'm just going to do found, not found, because it's easier to type. If it was as easy to type, not implemented, I would do that instead. But since by nature of what it is, it's not even accessed anyway, it literally doesn't matter. It is just a marker to say, hey, I think at some point I want to do this. And it's probably well enough to get rid of that. Yeah. Interesting. I have found actual, it's not necessarily errors in the code, but misleading bits of code, options that are documented somewhere in the documentation for objection, but not for the method that they're being used on, so they don't do anything. It appears as though it gives a certain behavior. For example, I think there was a place where it looks like the password, the salted password, was being removed from the user object, but in actuality it wasn't. So it is kind of interesting to see these things. I have to go look and see. I think what this is saying, maybe, is that there is, that delete is not an option here, but I'm not really quite sure from the way of what it's saying. It's hard to tell. Anyway, done with that file, and I will look at comments in just a second. Okay. And we have not just put strict in all of the files. I wanted to do that. This is another thing that bugs me. And again, it's part of the education and the ecosystem and the tooling. People don't focus on the tooling that is the small and simple things. The 20% of tooling that gives you the 80% of the wins. They want to focus on the grandiose tooling. They don't focus on the simple things. And this, I think, if we focused on the simple things as part of the educational process, the boot camps, whatever, one, it'd be easier to teach it, and two, we'd get better results out of it. But whatever. So people aren't doing use strict, which they absolutely ought to, and then they have errors that would be easy to catch, such as variables that have not been defined. But if you put use strict in a file that was working, it's possible that it won't work. So we haven't gone through and added use strict to everything because it's possible that it could break things that are currently working because the code that is broken is not currently exercised, if that makes sense. And I'll look at the comments in just a second, see what's going on there. And then I think we had somebody join. So if that's the case, feel free to say hello, tell me who you are, or don't tell me who you are. Stay anonymous. I don't need to know who you are. What your interest is in Node, what you're doing up so late or early or whatever it is. Okay, let me look at comments here. All right, so we're talking about Doom, the video game. The Doom's random number generator was an array of ints. I sometimes wonder why they did this. Perhaps it's because not all random number generators are the same. Again, I don't know what you're talking about. I do understand that there's a game, Doom, and that it has a random number generator. But if that was related at all to anything that I was saying or doing, I did not catch it. So loop me in on that. Or maybe you're just saying, hey, here's a fun fact, which is totally cool. But I need more context to understand what you mean. Because I would think an array of ints, well, if you have, say, a 64-bit number, how big are the ints? If they're single byte ints, it would make sense that they're an array. I don't know why you'd only use single byte ints, but it may be that if you're targeting multiple different platforms in an early era such as the 90s, so you want to, I don't know if Doom came out for something like the Atari, but certainly not the Atari not the 2600, but maybe the Jaguar, whatever. Anyway, if you're targeting multiple platforms and they operate on different size integers, maybe it makes sense if you need a larger integer to break it down into smaller integers and then choose an algorithm that can do the math on it that way. Other than that, I don't know. Why did I Twitter return here? I would have been the one that did this, wouldn't I? Request. Yeah, I'm the one that did this. So why did I put a return rather than an await? Maybe I was just... Nope, I totally wrote this myself. This is my code. I don't know why I did that. It seems like I could have just done let res equals... But that's not what I'm doing right now. I'm not solving for that sort of thing. So away we go. Yeah, I actually went through and did all this before, but I made other changes as I went as well, and that was a mistake. And I ended up throwing that all away. So I learned about the code and some of the weird things. Like, for example, this. I think I remember doing something with this. No, I didn't do anything with this particular one. Okay, there we got our errors. Whoops. Here we are. Oh, man. In some ways, this is just procrastinating. Well, I was intending to have this done last week, but there are some more important things that I need to attend to. I'm just not ready for them right now. So I figure maybe I can just knock this out, call that good, and move along. Okay, oh no. Let's see, error.message, that should be okay. Yeah, this one I'm going to leave alone for the time being. Maybe we ought to have a type of error that says that the message in the error will be represented as HTML. Let's see. To do tag to specify tag. That's not what I wanted. Add property that signifies the standard, the top level error handler should put this into HTML. Maybe. So you should render as HTML rather than JSON. Because there are times for both. What else we got? Oh, okay, yeah, got it. Yeah, sorry. So replying to the mentioning I wanted to write a cross-platform random number generator. So it's not that I want a random number generator. I want a random string generator. So I'll send you the link to this. And it'd be super easy to do in Go. It'd be better to do in maybe Rust or Zig or VLang. I just found out about VLang. I'm not sure how I feel about it in terms of it seems like it's not gaining. It seems smart, but it seems like it's not gaining a lot of traction. And in my old age, I think that I need to definitely not invest time in languages that don't have a good 5 years. Oh, excuse me. Well, either they need to either have 10. They need to have some traction for sure, and depending on the traction and the fitness in the market, they need to be somewhere between 5 and 10 years old. So Rust is something I am actively. I've actually got a book here behind me, but I read this for 20 minutes in the morning, a couple times a week, and I'm going through. Rust is something where I know that for where my career is going to go, eventually I'm going to be a Rust developer. Unless something else comes along. I really can't sink my teeth into Rust because it goes against many of the principles I believe in about simplicity. I think that they do handle traits and inheritances fairly well, but generics are a disaster always. It always leads to dependency hell, and that's one of my least favorite things. So that's one of the reasons I'm dragging my feet on Rust. And the cross-platform tooling, build tooling is not anywhere near as good as Go by a long shot. Anyway, where was it? I think it was in the Beyond Code repo issues. No, this is on webinstall.dev. Webinstall.dev. No, GitHub.com. Web install. Let's go to issues. And then do we have R&D? There we go. See, this would be really easy. This would be for somebody who wants to write a program that does this. I'm going to put it in the chat here. Boop. Now it's in the chat. Boop. In the chat here as well. Whoop. Ba-doop, ba-doop. Anyway, there's my specification for the R&D program, and I actually do have a little bit more of it. I think no, it is better. Let me go back to the Beyond Code, and I had portfolio project ideas. Let's see, R&D, random string generator. This is one of those simple but truly good portfolio project ideas. So anyway, I want to do that at some point, just as a relaxing project, just to do a little bit of Go and then get something deployed. And I'm sure when I post it to Reddit, I'm learning how to navigate Reddit, as I think anybody coming into Reddit is going to land themselves with a face full of downvotes unless they just get the whole marketing yourself effectively. What really upsets me is I see how people who are good at manipulating people are good at manipulating people on Reddit. And so these people get all up in arms when you do self-promotion, blah, blah, blah. But the people that are really good and crafty about how they do self-promotion can get away with it. And it makes me kind of frustrated, because it's like you realize you're being duped by someone who actually is just here to spread propaganda. And I mentioned that I created this thing and I think it's actually a useful tool. And then you want to downvote because you're self-promoting and blah, blah, blah. And this all that stuff. But I'm learning. I don't know that I'm learning in terms of things that I can write down on a sheet of paper and explain what I'm learning, but I'm getting more and more positive interactions on Reddit. So obviously I'm learning something, because when my first 4 or 5 posts on Reddit were, the first couple were actually split evenly between positive and negative reactions, which was awesome because it made it go viral. And the next couple of posts were all just straight negative. Now I'm getting posts that are mostly positive, but then they're not. They don't have virality to them. If you can find a way to make people argue, which was not even the intent that I had. I posted a tip for Vim. I did not know. I did not know who I was going to awaken. Okay, this I don't think is a good idea. I don't think we should be putting HTML inside of messages, but whatever, it's there. Okay, and I do want to invert this, but I'm not going to. Throw errors.create. 403 is forbidden. Forbidden. Verboten. I think we should put more status messages in German. I think everybody would be happier if we did that. All right, so is it going to tell me that this is never used? Create code. Okay, cool. Email test, never used. Let's see, account report. That is used. Why are you complaining? Not exported. I have to go take a look at this. If you do your exports in a particular way, in fact, I'm going to go look at it right now because I'm interested to see why it thinks it's not exported. Account report. It's probably because it does a objects. Not object.keys.for-each, or that's sort of a pattern. Let's see, yeah, here it is. Object.assign module.exports. That's why. Module.exports. Are we using it anywhere else? Yeah. So I'm not going to fix this right now. / change it. But yeah, it's better off just. We do too much to save keystrokes, which is not important. we have all these autocomplete tools and all that. It just, saving keystrokes is not, I 100% agree with Douglas Crockford. It really shouldn't be something that we spend time on. Well, it should from a tooling perspective, but not from a, I'm going to choose to make this variable less readable or to make this segment of code better tooling. And I'm actually not criticizing the way that that's being done, because I think that it's actually a good way. It doesn't overwrite module.exports, etc. I mean, I may have done that. I don't know who wrote that, but it could have been me. It realistically could have been me. Oh, interesting. This is possibly undefined. So this is kind of cool. Knowing that this is possibly undefined. I wonder how it knows that. Let's take a look at transaction report. And what is this? What are we in? Routes email? Transaction report. Let me go take a look and see how it knows. Sometimes, one of the things I love the TypeScript introspection that it does to code. I just love it. It's so much more advanced than most things because it actually looks to see, it's not quite as up there as, say, Rust, but it's pretty darn good. Transaction report. I'll check comments just in a second. So there's the try, a big old try. Okay, this is too much. This is over 100 lines long, it looks like. So, this is why, because it's, anyway, what I was saying is, it can look at if statements and try catches and stuff like that and determine, is it possible for this to return undefined? And that is some Rust level awesomeness. I wonder if Go has tooling that is of that caliber. If it is, I need to know more about it because I haven't seen. No, I think there is. I think one of the things that I'm using now will give me those types of errors. I just don't see them as much, possibly because it's easier to write. Well, I shouldn't say it's easier to write correct code in Go, but it seems that more correct Go code exists than incorrect Go code. Anyway, I'm going to get out of this file. That satisfied my curiosity. Yeah, it's nice to know. Forbidden. It's nice to know that it's catching that, and I suppose that, I don't know. If it goes to get the report, it'll throw an error here. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal, I guess. It's just a report after all. Alright, that's good. Let's see, how far along am I? Down to F. Let's see, where is... Oh, 35. I'm halfway there. We'll make it, I swear. Oh, we're halfway there. Da 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 da. Yeah, if I keep this clean, I'm just gonna leave. Throw errors.create not found. It's a delicate balance to know when a not found should be an error, and when it should be a successful response that's returning an empty set. Questions that we have to ask ourselves, you know? All right, I can feel my mental, whatever it is, it's going down. The stupid thing is I'm drinking that Mountain Dew, and I'm not going to get the benefit of it now. I'm just going to get the detriment of it later. Do we really want... Yeah, I don't think we really want to throw away that error. I could be mistaken. I'm going to go to bed and I'm not going to be able to sleep, even though I'm really tired. That's the problem. I want to stay up a little bit because... I make poor life choices sometimes. Seems most people do, sometimes. Alright, yeah, we don't need that error there. I need to get enough sleep to be well rested tomorrow within the first couple of hours. I gotta take on some more important work. Okay. Interesting. What brings us here? Yeah, why am I in these places? Alright. Yep. We can go ahead and get rid of that. I don't think I'm going to get to anything else tonight. I think I'm just going to get through these try catches. I was thinking maybe I'd get through them a little bit quicker, but I'm not. Wait, no, hold on. No. Okay, take a look at this. Here's an if statement. Right? There's no else, but there is another block. What am I to make of it? Good news is, it doesn't matter because there's a return here. So whether there's a block here or not doesn't matter. But that was just hilarious. That is a category of potential error that I don't think I've ever come across before, where someone deletes the word else and leaves the braces which do properly indicate a new block scope. But yeah, that's a strange one there. That's one for the books. All right. All right, so is this going to tell us that that doesn't exist or that we're not using it? What about this one? Yeah. Does this file exist? Let's find out. Oh, I see. Yep, it's using the same object.assign trick. I get it. I have a different way of handling that. Typically what I'll do is do var foo equals module.exports, and then I have a nice short variable foo, then I can do foo.x equals whatever over and over again. Okay, I want to be done with this one. I guess I could, there we go, delete a little faster that way. Let's see, do I need to delete 3? Or just, and that's going to be rec.params, that's in the URL, so that does not give us any additional information. All right, why is this thing slowing down? That's what I want to know. This does not yield a result unless there's an error. So if it's successful, nothing happens. I think we want something to happen, right? Maybe res.results. Anything? Just okay. Oh, wait. Oh, yep, I'm not going to do that. That one requires more updating because whether it, this all should be in a process.nexttick. And I should, well, I'd like to understand why it is the way that it is. Let's see. Oh, bother. I have to review all these files too, you know, so. I don't want the white space to change the files very much if I can avoid it. Okay. I don't know why. Either the network connection's going weird or something's gone bad. It's getting laggy. Okay. Interesting. This is going to send success when it fails. And least I am happening. Let's see. Pro tip. If your loop is more than, say, 3 to 5 lines long, turn it into a function. Definitely should not be 100 lines long. Should is a strong word, but I think it's appropriate. Okay. Oh, that one. We don't want to get rid of that one. That one's doing something special. Special. Do 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 do. There we go. Alright, how much further do we have to go in this file? I'm done with this file already. I'm done. You hear me? Yeah, no new moments. I'm not going to fix those. I'm not going to fix those. Stay on target. Stay on target. And I guess we can get rid of that. That seems like an appropriate bug. Let's see, what is this? Upload, da 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 da. This one looks hairy. Very, very hairy. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Good job. Staying on target. Not getting distracted by other areas that could benefit from some TLC. Alrighty. Okay. This is 5. Uh-oh. Did it freeze? It may have frozenated. Okay, I think I'm in the final stretch. I could be wrong, but I think I'm in the final stretch here. Partner? Where's partner? Oh, not really in the final stretch. Way up here. Okay. Well, I might just need to say, put enough of a dent in it for the night. It's 2 a.m. If I go to bed now, I can get 6 hours of sleep. And that would be sufficient, I think. Oh, I haven't been checking comments. Oh, hello and welcome. Will, is that still you, or is that somebody? Because I looked like you dropped off a little bit ago. But anyway, whoever you are, feel free to introduce yourself. Say hello. Tell me what your interest is in Node, or in seeing what I'm doing. If you got any questions, want me to explain something, I'll try to do that. I am getting a little tired. I think I'm going to head off soon. But I'm happy to answer what I can. Anyway, mostly I'm just deleting a bunch of try catches and letting the async router handle things properly, so that it's not losing. So there's a standard error handler, top level error handler. Express actually has error handlers, little known fact. And if you use a for variable signature or argument signature rather than the 2 or 3 argument signature. And so if you get rid of the try catches and you use async router, specifically at root async router, although there are some other async routers out there. But anyway, then you can get rid of all your try catches and just let it flow through the top level error handling. So you have consistent error handling, and you've got a place where, so I put in any 500 error, I put a random ID on it that I attach to the error that then goes back to the user as well. So when we get an error report, we can ask for a little random ID that's about 6 characters long, 6 or 8 characters long. And then I can go look in the logs and I can see, oh, this was the route that they accessed and what happened. So that I find to be a mighty improvement. The goal, which we've come quite a long way, but the goal is to get to 100% of errors are handled in some way, in that at least the error is going back to the user, if nothing else. Which in some cases is, you find that there's the error was not being handled at all. It just potentially could have caused the application to crash. Okay, this is just debug error handling, it looks like, yeah. There's no way I'm going to get through 20 of these before I need to conk out, because I got about 20 left. Anyway, let me see. No comments. All right. So maybe it's not Will, because you didn't say, yeah, I'm still here. So maybe it is somebody new, but you're a lurker. Quiet type. Okay. And yeah. And I said this earlier on in the stream, but we're not actually losing any information, because this error is an unknown error. So, and at the top level, we print out the method and the URL, so we don't need the English description of what it is. That's not something that goes to the end user anyway. And obviously on the front end, if you just tried to do X, then you could also just as well say there, error doing X. So there's no loss of information in getting rid of these messages. The same amount of information is present in the system, as it were. Okay, don't know what that was about. Let's see. Oh, wait. Nope. That one. Okay, good. Just need to make sure, because this one, we're actually sending back a result. So we're saying if there's an error, it still succeeds. So I'm not going to touch that one as of yet, because that's behavior that I'm not confident in trying to understand and potentially change at this time. Right now, I'm just trying to make low impact changes, or not low impact so much as low risk. Let's see, we're going 4, 5, 5. Okay. And this one is going to be a not found error. And those, if I wanted to find all of those types, that's something that that Comey would be good for. Comey, I mentioned a couple times already, is a tool that is great for refactoring code because it understands various languages, their block structures, their comment structures, and stuff like that. So it makes it really easy to do much more advanced find and replace than what you would get with a regex because it understands nesting and that sort of thing. So the patterns that it supports are very simple, trivial patterns. They're not so robust as what regex gives you. But because it understands nesting and that sort of thing, they turn out to be incredibly, incredibly useful. Let's see. See, this would be a good if we did it like this. No, I don't want to change that up because that actually changes the meaning, doesn't it? Or does it? That doesn't make sense. Kind of, sort of. So it's kind of a strange way to go about it. Because here's a place where it can handle the error in a graceful fashion. But then we throw the error to prevent this from happening. Seems like that actually, this is a excellent use case for a .then.catch because the logic of it actually does make perfect sense. This is cleaner, simpler if we do it like this. So if it's perfectly correct, then res.result. Otherwise, handle the error gracefully if we can. Otherwise, don't handle it gracefully. Rethrow it. That is clean. I'm not really wanting to do much in the way of refactoring, but that one was a little awkward. And yeah, a little awkward to read and understand what was going on. So now it flows. Easier to read code top to bottom than it is to read code left to right. So predominantly, you want code structured top to bottom. Okay, so it is you, Will. It is you. All right, and then Sentry, we don't need any more here. Okay, I definitely can't get through another 10 of these if any of them are like that again. I'm just hoping that they're going to be really, really tiny. Teeny, teeny, tiny. All right, async. Let's put an await here. Let's drop all of this. And then I'll go one day, maybe never. Go grab the .thens. But this should, when I do the get diff of this, it should almost be exclusively, when you're accounting for white space, it should almost be exclusively deleting. Sometimes I wish that get diff could work at the line level, where if you just delete a prefix to something or add a suffix, or you change the line in a subtle way, GitHub's highlighting does a really good job of this. That's an area where we just need to have better tooling everywhere. Okay. So we're going to do await. And then now we can let that bubble. One of the things I like about await is that you, unlike a promise where you have to return to get the functionality of await, with await you don't have to return. So you can be more clear about whether you're intending the result to be of importance or not. And I appreciate that. Async, await, no need to catch. This is a thing that is a thing. What a wonderful error message. Oh. All right, here we go. And then the other problem is I still have to review this before I go to bed. I am going to put this into a branch, but I'm going to put it into a branch for tracking purposes so that we can see what changed. But I'm actually going to put this directly into master. And whatever mistakes I make, they're just going to be uncovered. But I don't, well, we'll see. There's a high chance that I'm making some mistakes somewhere. This is forbidden. Forbidden. Alrighty. Await. Alrighty. Okay, what am I at? Roll. So I'm down to R. Okay, now I have, I still have 15 left. Well, let's just see. Alright, none there. Yeah, I mean, if it takes me a minute on each of these, that's 15 minutes. I don't know if I can stomach it. Oh, what does this need? JWT for verify is system. Okay, yeah, it's got the other token bit there. And that's going to go away. Too many different authentication methods throughout this application. Okay. The less than operator cannot be applied to types Boolean and number. Indeed. Indeed. Is that TS server or is that JS Hunt? Yeah, man. Again, just good stuff. Good stuff. I love that it actually looks at the code and as if it's evaluating it. That's just wonderful. So what is this supposed to mean? We obviously have a bug here. But what does the bug mean? Throw errors.create. So here we have time diff less. Is this supposed to be less than 1,000, minus 1,000? And what is this supposed to mean? Let's see, time difference between servers is too large. I think maybe it's supposed to be divided by timestamp minus new date dot get time. I don't even know what that means. What is get time? Is that date time? Because typically I would do date dot now, for example, if I wanted. What does date dot get time mean? New date dot get time. What about date dot now? Okay, so that's just a, well, let's say worse. That's appropriate. It's just a worse way of doing date dot now. Okay, I'm not here to fix this bug. I'm going to leave this bug in place. I'm just going to to-do xxx bug. But let me see what I think it's trying to say. That's going to be milliseconds. Decoded timestamp, I don't know whether that's in milliseconds or not. I think that this was intended to be division. But I'm not sure. I can't tell. Can't tell. All right, put a little comment there to get around to that later. I could try do. I almost want some sort of little macro that I could run in the file. If I could say run Comey in each file as I'm looking at it, that would be really cool. All right, how big is this file? Okay, what is this doing? Nada. Not a lot of enchilada. This has got a ton of them in here, huh? Oh no. It's done. It's over. Quick and painless. Racing against the clock. I cannot let it get to 3. I've got to find a way to wrap this up. Okay, catch. Next. That's appropriate, at least. That will work. So one of the things I've been saying is at work is if there's a problem, especially with code that I wrote, where it's not working as documented or as intended, don't hacky do around it, but let me know that it's broken and I'll fix it. Okay, here it looks like we might actually lose some information. That's okay. Task redirect error. Well, let me see. Let me see. Nope. No information lost. That is an ad hoc code. That is not a code that exists in our error handling system. So I am happy to dispose of it. Okay. Throw errors dot create bad request. All right, and then this one, what are we dealing with here? But anyway, there's places where I've seen something that I've done or suggested isn't working in a particular case, and then there's kind of hacky-doos around it, and I want to discourage doing the hacky-doos and just say, hey, bug me, It was my mistake, it was my problem, I'll fix it. Because I want fewer divergent systems, fewer ways of doing things. Gatekeeper at the gate, doorkeeper at the door, error handling, security, etc. All right, I'm really losing it. As you can tell, my voice is going down. I'd really be having a hard time doing connected thoughts right now. Let's see. We want this to be a 404. I'm just going to leave that one alone because we're not actually intending to return this. That's because it was promised. Okay, so now we can await it. We don't need to return there. Okay, that kind of makes sense. I don't want to refactor much. Oof. Error loading things. Oof. This one looks... Yeah, I'm not going to go there. It looks like we can get rid of all this. Dead code comments. Okay, nope, we're not going to worry about that one. Not going to worry about this one. This one, now I'm confused. What is this? Is this a helper function? So we occasionally run into these types of situations. Oh, let's await that. And then, yeah, we don't need any of this. Okay, so here's my question. My question is, with this big try catch here, is anything ever done? Oh, okay, so no matter what, it's going to do res.result. So it just does that right off the bat. Okay, not really sure what to make of that. Okay, I'm just going to leave that one. Seems a little bit of an odd case. So I'm just going to say meh. All right, let's get out of here. Oh, which one was that I was just in? Transaction template. Let me go back here. Transaction template. So it's probably just in timeline. Because I don't know if I let prettier run on that before I exited. Okay, it did good. All right, and then what are we doing here? Really getting close to the bottom. Still don't know if I'm going to make it before 3, and it's going to be bad if I don't go to bed in the next few minutes. For my productivity tomorrow, which I wish I could just work at night. You ever feel that way? You ever just wish you could work at night? I mean, I guess I am working at night, but I would rather sleep through the day and work through the night. It's just not feasible with the way that the rest of society works. I've tried to actually make that a schedule before, but it is not, it's just not tenable. That is my assessment. Oh, and I'm getting kind of hungry. Another sign that I'm up too late. You shouldn't be up late enough to get hungry at night. Throw errors.create not found. Whoa. Amber is the color of your energy. Copyright strike. All right, else throw errors.create, and this would be bad request. What? We're gonna overwrite? What? That doesn't make any sense. If success? What? Error. Oh, I see. I kind of see what it's doing. I kind of sort of see what it's doing. Oh, hey, look. Constants being used as constants. How novel. Though I would prefer they were in all caps. But better like so than... Okay. Okay, this one looks like the message is actually maybe important. I'm going to leave that one there. I don't know what to make of this. Property message does not... I don't know. Is there an error? Yeah, there is. Oh, this is kind of confusing. This is one of those cases where it, again, easier to read top to bottom than right to left. So it should not be if success, 100 lines, else, 1 line. It should be if not success, 1 line, else. You know, bunch of lines. But there's a bunch of stuff in there that could be thought of different ways. Unexpected token, that's not good. Okay, message does not exist on type of error or something, or I don't know. We're going to just let that one be. I don't want to deal with it right now. Okay, let's get out of here. Try, I don't see any tries in here. Try, I don't see any tries in here. Try, I don't see any tries in here. Good. Great. Okay, cool. That was wonderful. Use strict, whoops. Use strict, use strict, use strict, use strict. Just checking that it's at the top of every file. Oh, not the top here. Let's see if any particularly important errors pop up. I didn't see any pop up, so I don't think they're going to, because JS hint should run right away. So if there's a JS hint error, we should see it. Pretty much immediately after save. Okay. Doot, 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 doot. All right. Are we coming up on the end here? Maybe. I think I'm over halfway through. Alrighty. Yay! Alright, sweet. So, 60 files changed or so. Let's take a look at those tries again this time. Well, I can't see where they're at, but far fewer number of them. And then let's do get diff-w, and we should see I'm just going to look for any places where there's a plus. Okay, I see what happened there. It got short enough that it shrank onto one line. Also, let me make sure that there's nothing special about the error messages. As I'm looking through here, basically all unknowns. Just want to make sure that it's not, I didn't accidentally delete any of the ones that were doing one of those types of things where it was converting the error into a valid response. I don't think I deleted any of those, but I just want to keep my eye out to check to make sure. I gotta see where that's coming from. Yeah, okay. Corrected spelling of redundant. That should be the name of this commit message. Oh, I just corrected the spelling of redundant. That's really the only material change that I made here. Okay, that one. Result. Seems a little strange. Oh, I see. I see what's going on there. Yep. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, where are we at? We're all the way up at the top still, aren't we? All right, I think I'm just going to go ahead. Let's do add API routes. What else could change? So errors changed. Ah, I see. I just added the status on that coupon. That's fine. Errors. So we're going to do get checkout -b await catch is what we'll call this branch. And then I'm going to do get commit -m refactor remove extraneous try catch. That's what we're going to call it. And I'm going to do a get push -u origin. What did I just call that? Await catch. I wish I had an indicator in my pager, and I could probably configure this of what percentage way I am down through the listing of the files. Okay, routes admin. Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. I'm way up at the top here. All right, let me see if I can skim faster. Maybe if I'm actually going to switch over to looking at it on GitHub to see if I can skim faster that way. GitHub.com savvy. Let me look at pull requests. Create a pull request. I'm going to compare await catch to master. Create the pull request. Okay, files changed 52. I don't like having this side by side here. Let's do hide white space changes and unified. Apply and reload. Can I scroll through faster here? No, not really. Well, let's see if it runs. Sudo system control restart savvy dev. Sudo journal control zifu savvy dev. Okay, well, it started, so that's good. I look for any places where there's substantial green. It's mostly just removing try-catch blocks. And the only thing I'd be looking for in the try-catch blocks is to see if there was a place where there's I removed something other than a 500. But let me just scroll through and make sure there's very little green. Await, await, async await, async await. Okay, this one's a little bit more troublesome. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just going to merge it into master. No one ever regretted being tired and fatigued and nearly falling asleep at the wheel and merging into master. That's never happened in all of developer history. This has always been a success story. Although I feel that the changes that I've made are fairly straightforward. I didn't do any hardcore refactoring or even bug fixes. Very, very tiny bug fixes. A couple of one word, not symbol isn't the right way to say it, but a couple of teeny tiny bug fixes. No more than 5 of them, I don't think. All right. Well, this is looking good. Yeah, it's mostly deletes. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do it because it needs to get in before tomorrow morning. And this is just going into the dev environment anyway. Okay. All right. Well, I'm out for the night. Have a good one. If you liked it, give it a like, because if you like what you like, get more of what you like. If you want to follow and subscribe, click the bell for personalized recommendations so that you get the code stuff and not anything else, although 95% of what I do on the channel is code stuff. You have a wonderful night, especially you, Will. And I am going to become famous and buy big followers, primes, and viewers on bigfollows.nom. And with that, I'm out. Adios.